Hello and welcome to this short demonstration on Plutus Bench. Plutus Bench is a Catalyst funded project which aims to create an emulator for script contexts and running transactions entirely in general, just so that smart contract evaluation can be completely end-to-end tested off-chain without the need of a Cardano node. The core idea, which has resulted in discussions with users, is that we actually emulate the BlockFrost API, and in such a way that basically any off-chain tooling that users are used to, Lucid, PyCardano, and so on, can be used to interact with this API instead of the BlockFrost API, and they have a completely controllable and deterministic interface. We have even created a publicly available hosted version of this and provided the source code for everyone to run their own MockFrost endpoint, which is the name for our BlockFrost emulation. The basic idea for using this is very code heavy, but the idea is to first create a session using a random seed, then using the session ID to further access any fields like the current block, epoch, scripts, addresses, UTXOs at specific outputs, resolving datums, and so on. And because when you start a new ledger, a fake ledger in MockFrost, you don't have any funds yet, you can even add your own transaction outputs or add just the UTXO, depending on whether you also want to control the script hash or not. Set the slot, so it could be that your ledger starts at slot 0, then you add some time-controlled contract, and then you want to move the slot forward so that you can now unlock the funds, and so on. So this is the basic API. It's also documented here in more detail, also regarding the structure of which arguments to provide, and so on. An example script on how to use this is provided in the test cases of Plutus Bench. There's a basic MockFrost client that we have set up for this. It's a short Python program that basically wraps around once this API, and you create this as a client, then create a session which basically calls this endpoint, creates a new empty ledger state, and then derives a chain context. In PyCardano it's a chain context, in Lucid or other off-chain tooling it might be a different tool, which just allows you to generate transactions by fetching all the relevant data about transaction outputs, UTXOs, and so on from the chain. Then we create a new payment key, fund it with 100 ADA, for example, and then deploy our contract. First we generate the contract, and then we forcibly add a transaction output that already is at this contract with a specified value and a specified datum. The benefit of having this as opposed to having something that sticks to the ledger rules and does not allow you to create your own transaction outputs is that you can also emulate or you can skip to a specific state of your protocol. Say after hundreds of iterations of continuous updates of your state, you expect to be in a specific state. This you can directly emulate here, skip to it by just adding the TX out with the datum, with the tokens that you want to have. And then we call spend from script contract, and this is just the normal off-chain code that we have defined anyways, which just works using a chain context. So this could work with Ogminus, could work with actual BlockFrost, and in our case it just works with the MockFrost. And now This test is actually run as part of the broader test suite that we provide with our own with our entire implementation. And I can just run it here, and you will see that it works. It sends a number of requests to the backend. It's all logged here, and finally the transaction submission succeeds. If you want to learn more, head to mockfrost.dev/docs or to the GitHub repository option/Plutus Bench, which gives you more details on how to run the BlockFrost client locally. If you want to run this locally, there's also another way. Once you're in the Plutus Bench repository, set up Poetry and go into the Poetry shell, and then run -m Plutus Bench .mockFrost. It's all also detailed in here. Clone the repository, go into Plutus Bench, install the package, and then run Plutus Bench.mockFrost server app. And now you also have a local version. This is now at localhost, and it's the same as our deployed version that you can just use for convenience. And again, once you have this set up, you can use any off-chain tooling, Lucid, PyCardano, Translucent, to interact with this context and generate full-fledged transactions and evaluate them. If you have any questions remaining, feel free to head to the GitHub repository, open an issue, or head to our Discord server and let me know what you think.